Hi folks, Brian Rushing here for www.abbeyathletics.com in front of Stowe Hall this afternoon, and here with me as I've got Chester Triplett as well as Coach Kyle Knott. Now the reason I have the two of them today here with me is they're competing this week in the National Paralympics trials. Now for that, it is an opportunity for Chester Triplett and Kyle Knott to both go as a tandem team to Italy to compete in a world event. And I'm going to give them an opportunity to tell us a little bit about that today. So Chester, if you will, please go ahead and kind of give me an idea of what it is that you specifically are competing for and why you've got Coach Knott here with you as well.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. This weekend as we go to the Velo Sports Center in LA, we'll be competing for, as you said, a selection to the UCI Para-Track World Championships in Italy. And yeah, it's just a great opportunity to compete in the individual pursuit, the 4-kilometer distance, and the 1-kilometer time trial. Yeah, so that's our goal this weekend, is to hopefully qualify for Track Worlds.
Now, Chester, the relationship that you developed with Coach Knott is actually a relatively new relationship that you guys, as far as being on a tandem bike. Kind of give me an idea of how this happened and what the relationship's been like so far.
Over the last 2 seasons, I competed with a good friend of mine, Ruben Howden, out of Charlotte, and he and I trained and raced down in Rock Hill at the velodrome, and that's where Ruben and I both met Kyle when Kyle was running the track there. And Ruben and I competed for 2 seasons together, and then at the end of the 15th season, we decided to part ways. And I asked Kyle if he was interested in training and racing with me for the selection race this weekend, and kind of short notice, but he said he could do it, and just right away, great match on the bike together, and on and off the bike, actually. So yeah, really excited about racing with Kyle this weekend.
Now, Coach Knott, this was a circumstance for you that you recently were named the cycling coach here at Belmont Abbey College. So you kind of go from, working at a velodrome to being a college coach in the cycling world to then competing with Chester this weekend in California. It's been kind of a whirlwind last couple of months for you. Kind of give us an idea of what this event means to you and how this relationship from your perspective was started with Chester.
I wouldn't have it any other way. The opportunity to be here at Belmont Abbey has been a great experience for me, and I was hesitant to commit to go to this race with Chester just because I didn't know time-wise, with my recruiting and starting our team in August of next year, how all that will be going. But through recruiting's going well. Coach Miss said it would be a great opportunity for me to go out there and race with Chester, so I was able to commit to him, at the end of his season and say, hey, let's go for it. And from my standpoint, it really just proves that you can continue to work and still race at a high level, and it opens the doors for kids that may want to race collegiately, that they can partner with some riders who are visually impaired and still achieve their goals. I'm still going to race on the road, on my single bike for my team Revolve Residential here out of Charlotte. So, I've got a full plate, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Now, we had an opportunity to talk off camera before this particular interview. For those that are not familiar with tandem cycling, kind of give me an idea, and I'm asking either one of you to kind of give me an idea of what tandem cycling is like, how it compares to being one person on a bike. What are some of the things from a tactical standpoint you guys have to utilize in regards to teamwork?
That's a great question, especially if, on the bike you have a visually impaired or blind person on the back. So on a tandem, the person on the front is generally referred to as the pilot. I like to use the word driver because, oftentimes the skill involved is very much like driving a motor vehicle. You have to have that skill. But, we're tied together on the bike through a timing chain. So communication is very important, in terms of making the bike go fast and being efficient, especially at this level. Because you got to have, you got to be fast. And, so that's...
Well, now, Coach Knott, I would imagine that both of you on the bicycle are very fast, but that's not the entire story, I would imagine. If you guys are just going at it as hard as you possibly can and there's no sort of rhythm or flow to what it is the two of you are doing, I would imagine it's almost counterproductive.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same as being on a cycling team. Everybody kind of has their roles, and And if you don't do what you're supposed to do and work together and figure things out, it's not going to work. It's the same as a collegiate cycling team. We've got to be in sync in terms of our cadence. If I wanted to ride at 110 RPMs and he wanted to ride at 80, well, we wouldn't work well together.
Sure.
But at the same time, you're riding together. He's inches behind me, just as if he were drafting off of me. We've got to be able to communicate off the bike. That communication is key. So it's really got a lot of things in similarity to being on a team and that communication, that training together and really reaching the goals and being like-minded individuals in terms of what you want to get out of this. Really just kind of mirrors what you do in terms of a collegiate team.
Now, Chester, I did want to ask, you mentioned two events, the 1 kilometer event and the 4 kilometer event. I would imagine that there are some differences in how you race those two events. Can you give us any insight as to what the mindset is behind those two races?
Absolutely. The 4K is definitely more about pacing. Your start isn't going to be, you're not going to put as much power and as much, effort into the start of a 4 kilometer because the distance is longer, so you have to pace it. And the 1K is definitely all about the start, the opening lap, getting out of the gate. Both of them getting out of the gate clean, but especially for the 1K because it's such a short distance. And but yeah, for me, something that I've really worked on over the past 2 seasons is just pacing. Because and when I got my start in Paralympic cycling, I was a kilo rider, a sprinter. That's how I was trained. And so as I transitioned my focus mostly on the pursuit, I've really had to work on pacing because you can't go out in the first K. Of a pursuit, approaching it as though it's a kilo.
Well, and Coach Knott, I did want to follow up that question. Chester brings up pursuit. And one of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention and have you explain to folks checking out the video is the pursuit of excellence that is here on the campus at Belmont Abbey College. What sort of things like this, why do these types of events appeal to you so much? And what do you think the student athletes that will ultimately come to this campus and compete in cycling, what do you sort of benefit, what sort of thing do you think beyond just the cycling they're going to gather from being a part of events like this and being on this campus?
The beauty of this campus is the community. That's what really drew me to this, when I first took this job, is that everybody here really wants to help everyone else. And this opportunity, really kind of, it mirrors the campus. I'm out here because I really want to be involved in the community with cycling, and I'm getting to do that now with, the paracycling. The other thing is just the hard work that it takes both in the classroom, in your faith, and then on, whatever athletic field it is, with us with cycling, the hard work that it takes to reach goals, both here at Belmont Abbey, but also in your private racing and stuff like that. But it really just shows that you can really set your mind to things here. And this is something you can do, no matter who you are. If you just started riding a bike, you can go and you can partner with somebody, and it goes back to that whole thing with community. With me, that's the biggest thing, is the riders that I want to come here to Belmont Abbey are going to be kids that when they go out into the community and ride, and when they are involved with events on campus, that people are like, you know what, those are really good stand-up kids.
Well, and I want to give the both of you an opportunity to kind of let folks know how they can follow your progress, how they can follow you guys as you go into this week's event, and possibly as you make your way to Italy, should you guys qualify. Chester, how can people follow your progress in the event this week and with events to follow for you individually?
I use R5 Para as the Facebook page that I started. My former teammate Ruben and I started that, and that's where we post all of our videos, photos, race results, and things like that. So you can find us on Facebook at R5 Para, and so that'll be probably the primary way that I post our results from racing this weekend. If I could just add one more thing, resilience, I think, in terms of how we tie the Belmont Abbey and R5 Para Racing, the mission. I think resilience is definitely something that I really like to focus on. Life's gonna find a way to erect some kind of barrier. So resilience in the face of disability or whatever the challenge may be. So resilience is
Chester, fantastic words, and a coach, certainly for you. I would imagine you'll be utilizing Abbey Cycling, or at Abbey Cycling on Twitter. Would that be the one most efficient way to find out your exploits this coming week? or if there are other avenues that you'd like to let folks know about?
I would say the Belmont Abbey Cycling Facebook page or the @Abbey Cycling on Twitter would be the primary resource for sure. But a lot of it will be coming from the R5 Paracycling Facebook page, and that's probably the easiest way, just kind of running that stuff. So I will be giving updates through our media pages, but also that R5 Para.
Folks, you can certainly look for these two gentlemen to do unbelievable things this week in California as they vie for a spot to Italy. Folks, we thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. Coach Knott, thank you for your time. Chester, thank you for your time, and best of luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Folks, don't forget, for stat standing stories and more, there's only one place in cyberspace when it comes to your Crusaders. That place, www.abbeyathletics.com. This is Brian Rushing for Coach Knott, Chester Triplett.